You are sitting on the rug, petting your dog just like you have done 1,000 times before. Everything feels normal, peaceful, and affectionate. But then, in the blink of an eye, the unthinkable happens. Your beloved companion, the one who sleeps at your feet and greets you with a wagging tail every single day, turns and snaps. Maybe it's just a graze, or maybe it's a full-on bite that breaks the skin. In that split second, your world is turned upside down. You feel a wave of shock, a sting of betrayal, and a sudden, chilling fear that you don't even know who is living in your house anymore. But here is the truth that every animal behaviorist wants you to understand. Dogs almost never bite for no reason. While it feels sudden to you, for your dog, that bite was likely the final exclamation point at the end of a very long, very quiet sentence they have been trying to tell you for weeks, months, or even years. Today, we are going to look behind the curtain of the canine mind to explain exactly what it means when your dog suddenly bites you, the hidden whispers of body language you probably missed, and the critical medical and psychological triggers that turn a best friend into a reactive protector. The first and most important thing to realize is that a bite is not a betrayal. It is a communication tool. In the dog world, mouths are used for more than just eating and fetching. They are the primary way a dog expresses a boundary that has been pushed too far. When a dog bites a human they love, it is almost always a symptom of an underlying problem, not a character flaw in the dog. Imagine you are in a crowded room and someone keeps stepping on your toes. First, you might clear your throat. Then, you might say, "Excuse me." Then, you might shout. If they still don't move, you might eventually push them away. A bite is a dog's version of that final push. The tragedy is that humans are often deaf to the clearing of the throat and the "excuse me," leaving the dog feeling like they have no other choice but to shout with their teeth. The most common reason for a sudden bite is silent physical discomfort. Dogs are masters at hiding pain. In the wild, showing weakness or injury makes you a target, so dogs have evolved to be incredibly stoic. You might think your dog is perfectly healthy, but they could be dealing with a localized hotspot, a developing ear infection, or the early stages of arthritis or hip dysplasia. If you happen to touch them in that one sensitive spot, their natural startle reflex kicks in. They aren't biting you asterisk. They are biting the pain that they associate with your hand. If a dog who has always been gentle suddenly becomes reactive when touched in a specific area, the very first thing you need to do is visit a vet. Often, resolving the underlying physical issue completely resolves the behavioral issue. Next, we have to talk about resource guarding. This is an ancient, hardwired instinct that exists in every dog to some degree. For some, it's about their food bowl. For others, it's a specific toy, a favorite spot on the couch, or even a person. If you reach for that object, or move toward that space, and the dog snaps, they are expressing a profound insecurity. In their mind, that resource is the key to their survival or comfort, and they feel a desperate need to protect it. Interestingly, sudden guarding can flare up if a dog is feeling stressed in other areas of their life. If they feel like they have no control over their environment, they will latch onto the one thing they can control, their stuff. A bite in this context means, "I don't feel safe enough to share right now." Another major trigger is corrected communication. We talked in previous videos about how humans often scold a dog for growling. If you have spent months telling your dog no, every time they emit a low warning growl, you have effectively taken away their pre-bite warning system. You have taught them that the polite way of saying no is forbidden. This creates a pressure cooker situation. The dog still feels the discomfort or the fear, but they have learned to skip the growl and go straight to the snap. If your dog bites without warning, it often means they have been silenced in the past. They feel that quiet communication is ignored, so they move directly to the one thing they know you will listen to. Then there is the concept of trigger stacking. This is one of the most important lessons in canine psychology. Imagine your dog has a stress bucket. Every little thing that bothers them adds a bit of water to that bucket. A loud delivery truck in the morning? An inch of water? A missed walk because it was raining? Another inch? A neighbor's dog barking through the fence? Another 2 inches? On any normal day, the bucket might be half full, and your dog can handle you petting their ears. But on a day where everything has gone wrong, the bucket is filled to the brim. When you reach for them one last time, the bucket overflows. That sudden bite is just the result of a day's worth of accumulated stress. To you, it was a simple pet. To the dog, it was the last straw. Sleep startle is another fascinating and terrifying reason for a bite. Just like humans, dogs go through different stages of sleep, including deep REM sleep where they are dreaming. If a dog is startled awake by a touch, a loud noise, or someone leaning over them, their primitive reptilian brain can take over before their domesticated brain has a chance to wake up. They wake up in a state of fight or flight. This is especially common in certain breeds or in older dogs who might be losing their hearing or sight and are more easily surprised. A bite during a sleep startle event is completely involuntary. The dog is literally not themselves in that microsecond. This is why the unspoken rule of let sleeping dogs lie is so vital for safety. We also have to consider the looming threat of human body language. As we've discussed, humans are top-down interactors. We lean over dogs, we reach for their heads, and we make direct, intense eye contact. To us, this is intimacy. To a dog, this is confrontation. If a dog is feeling particularly vulnerable, perhaps they are cornered in a hallway or trapped on a couch, and a human looms over them, they may feel they have no exit path. In the animal kingdom, when you have no flight option, you must choose fight. A bite in this scenario means, I am trapped and I am terrified. It is an act of desperate self-defense, triggered by a human invading the dog's personal space in a way the dog finds overwhelming. Redirected arousal is another reason for a sudden snap. Imagine your dog is at the window, barking frantically at another dog outside. Their adrenaline is pumping, their heart is racing, and they are in a state of high frustration because they can't get to the target. If you reach in to grab their collar or touch their back while they are in this peak state of arousal, the dog might whip around and snap at whatever touched them. They aren't mad at you. They are just so amped up that their brain isn't processing who touched them, only that something touched them. It's like a person who is in the middle of a high-speed chase accidentally elbowing a passenger. It's a spillover of intense energy. What about the change in scent? This sounds like science fiction, but it is a real factor. If you have been around a strange dog, a cat, or even if you have a change in your own body chemistry due to illness or intense stress, your smell might change. For a dog, whose world is built on scent, this can be incredibly confusing. If your hand smells like danger or a rival, and you reach for their head, a dog might react to the scent before they realize it's you. This is why it's always a good idea to let your dog sniff your hands after you've been out in the world before you go in for a long petting session. There is also the age factor. As dogs get older, their patience levels can drop, much like humans. They may develop cognitive dysfunction, which is the canine version of dementia. This can cause them to become confused about where they are or who people are, especially in the evening hours, a phenomenon known as sundowning. An older dog who was once a social butterfly might become irritable because they are tired, in pain, or simply confused by a world that is becoming blurry and loud. A bite from a senior dog is often a cry for a quieter, more predictable environment. We must also look at fear-based reactivity hidden behind a polite mask. Some dogs are naturally anxious but have been well-trained to tolerate things they hate. They go through the motions of being a good dog, but inside, their stress is building. They might flicker their tongue, pull their ears back, or go still like a statue when you pet them. This freezing is a major warning sign. It means the dog is locking up because they are overwhelmed. If you continue to pet a frozen dog, you are pushing them toward a snap. The bite in this case means, I couldn't hold it in any longer. Displacement behaviors are the hints we often ignore. If you are petting your dog and they suddenly start scratching themselves, or they start sniffing the floor, or they give a big yawn, they are telling you they are uncomfortable. These are stress-relieving actions. If we ignore these and keep pushing for affection, the dog may escalate. The bite is the final step in a ladder of communication that started with a simple yawn. When we learn to see the yawn as a request for space, we prevent the bite from ever happening. One of the most heartbreaking reasons for a sudden bite is neurological shifts. Just like humans, dogs can have seizures or tumors that affect the part of the brain that controls impulses and aggression. If a dog's personality changes overnight, going from affectionate to reactive for seemingly no reason, it is a medical emergency. There are conditions where a dog's filter is simply gone due to a chemical or structural change in the brain. In these rare cases, the dog truly has no control over the action, and the bite is a biological malfunction. Adolescent testing can also play a role. When dogs hit their teenage phase, usually between 6 months and 2 years. Their brains are a cocktail of hormones and developing impulses. They are testing their boundaries and trying to figure out their place in the social hierarchy of the house. A snap or a nip during this phase might be an attempt to see what they can get away with, or an overreaction to a correction. This is a critical time for consistent, positive reinforcement training to show the dog that teeth are never the answer to social conflict. So what should you do if it happens? First, don't retaliate. Your instinct will be to shout, hit, or alpha roll the dog to show them you are in charge. But if the bite was triggered by fear or pain, which it almost always is, retaliating will only increase the dog's fear. You are confirming to them that you are a threat. Instead, freeze. End all interaction immediately. Give the dog space and give yourself space. Secure them in another room or behind a gate without being aggressive. This de-escalates the situation and allows everyone's adrenaline to drop. Second, assess the context. Be an investigator. What happened right before the bite? Was there a loud noise? Were you touching a specific spot? Was the dog eating? Had it been an unusually stressful day? Document everything. This information is vital for a trainer or a vet to help diagnose the root cause. Remember, we are looking for the why, because once we know the why, we can find the how to fix it. Third, consult the professionals. Do not try to train a biting issue out of your dog yourself using internet tips. Biting is a high-stakes behavior. You need a certified animal behaviorist or a positive reinforcement trainer who can observe the dog's body language in person. They will help you identify the triggers and create a desensitization plan. This usually involves teaching the dog that the things they fear are actually positive and giving them alternative ways to communicate their needs. You also need to manage the environment. If your dog bites when they are on the couch, the rule becomes, the dog is no longer allowed on the couch for now. If they bite when they have a certain toy, that toy is put away. Management means removing the opportunity for a fail. This keeps everyone safe while you work on the underlying emotional issue. It's not giving in to the dog. It's being a responsible guardian of the household's peace. One of the hardest things to do after a bite is to rebuild the bond. It's natural to feel hand-shy or to look at your dog differently, but your dog is incredibly sensitive to your energy. If you are constantly stiff and fearful around them, they will feel more insecure, which makes them more likely to react. Rebuilding trust takes time. Start with hands-off activities like throw and fetch or find the treat. This allows you to interact and have fun without the pressure of physical touch. Let the dog earn your trust back, and more importantly, let yourself earn the dog's trust back. The muzzle can be a powerful tool for safety during this rebuilding phase. Many people have a negative view of muzzles, but muzzle training, using lots of treats so the dog loves wearing it, provides a safety net. It allows you to take your dog to the vet or into public spaces without the worry of a bite. When you aren't worried, you are calmer. And when you are calmer, the dog is calmer. A muzzle is an act of love because it ensures that accidents can't happen, which protects the dog from the potential consequences of a bite. We must also be honest about the human role. Sometimes, we are the ones who need the training. Are we ignoring the dog's no? Are we lets children climb on the dog or pull their tails? Are we using punishment-based training that increases the dog's overall stress? A sudden bite is often a mirror reflecting holes in our management and our understanding of canine communication. By taking responsibility and changing our own behavior, we often see a miraculous change in the dog. It's often helpful to think of your dog as having a social battery. Some days their battery is full, and they can handle anything. Some days it's at 5%. A sudden bite is just what happens when we try to run a high-energy app, like intense petting or a loud social gathering on a low battery. Following their rule of the schedule and rule of the calm leader helps keep their battery charged. When we respect their unspoken rules, the need for a bite disappears. In rare cases, the bite might be predatory drift. This is when a dog's play suddenly shifts into predatory behavior. This is most common in interactions between very large dogs and very small dogs, or moving children. The movement triggers a very ancient part of the brain. If your dog snaps during intense play, it means the arousal has gone too high. The lesson here is to always interrupt play before it gets too intense. Use a settle command to bring the energy back down to earth regularly throughout the interaction. What if the bite happens to a stranger? This is usually protective reactivity or stranger danger. The dog is feeling a need to guard their pack or their space against a threat. For the dog, the stranger is an unknown variable. They don't know the stranger's intentions. If the stranger reaches for the dog's head, the rule of proper greeting violation we talked about, the dog may feel they must defend themselves. As the owner, your job is to be the advocate. You must be the one to tell people, please don't pet him right now, he's in training. You are the body brand for your dog's emotional space. Sudden is usually a matter of perspective. To the dog, it wasn't sudden. It was the result of 1,000 small moments of being misunderstood. It was the result of the whale eye being missed, the tension being ignored, and the pain being hidden. The meaning of a sudden bite is a call to action. It is the universe and your dog telling you that something is out of balance. It's an invitation to go deeper into your relationship and to learn the secret language that you've been skimming over. The goal isn't just a dog that doesn't bite. The goal is a dog that feels safe. A safe dog is a relaxed dog. A safe dog is a dog that knows their no will be heard, that their space will be respected, and that their guardian has their back. When you build this environment, the teeth become an unnecessary tool. They stay for eating and for displaying a begging grin, never for defense. Do not lose hope. Many dogs and owners have moved past a biting incident to have a long, happy, and safe life together. It requires humility, patience, and a willingness to see the world from 4 paws height. Your dog still loves you. They are just trying to tell you something that they don't have the words for. By listening to their whispers and addressing their why, you can restore the peace in your home and the bond in your heart. Rebuilding the relationship after a bite is like mending a broken piece of pottery with gold. The crack is still there, but the piece can become even more beautiful and stronger because of how carefully it was handled. You will become a more observant owner. You will become a more empathetic friend. You will become the person your dog always hoped you would be, the one who finally gets it. Stay vigilant, stay calm and consistent, and always remember that your dog is doing the best they can with the brain and the body they have. A bite is a moment of crisis, but a crisis is also a turning point. Use it to turn your relationship into something more honest, more respectful, and more grounded in true canine understanding. The road might be long, but the reward, the absolute trust of a dog who knows they are safe with you, is the greatest feeling in the world. Thank you for being the kind of owner who looks for answers rather than blame. Your dog is lucky to have an advocate like you. By learning these lessons and sharing them with others, we can create a world where dogs and humans speak the same language, and where the great silence is replaced by a deep, mutual understanding. Keep looking for the signals. Keep respecting the boundaries, and keep being the partner your best friend deserves. The bond is a living thing, and it grows strongest in the moments of repair. Until next time, stay observant, stay patient, and enjoy every small, quiet victory on the journey with your canine companion. Our dogs are trying to talk to us every second of every day. Let's make sure we're finally listening.